Okay, great. Looks like we have a great turnout this morning. Hope everyone is doing well. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Micah Matthews. I'm one of the marketing directors here at Messer Financial. I'm also joined by Mike Binke, who is the creator of what we're going to go over today with CUL. It is a terrific product. I know we've been doing a series of different webinars regarding under 65 health insurance. What are other options? As most of you are already well aware, there is no penalty now for not having ACA compliant health insurance. So the question now is, what is the best option for my clients? This today is going to be the first part of a three-part series with Mike and this product. I think after this is all said and done, you're going to get a great view of just how this could fit in your client's portfolio. It is a great fit for those that are healthy, and we're going to go over all of that. Also, just to go over a few things real quick, this is our website, what you're seeing on the screen. This is messerfinancial.com. Under Agent Resources is basically everything that you would ever need. If you want to go back and listen to this webinar or any webinar we've done prior to this, you can always click on Messer Learning Center. And when you do that, then it'll come up in every other webinar that we've done up to this point. You can break it out by product line. Whatever you're in the mood for, we've done it. But for this purpose, we're primarily focusing on under 65 health insurance. I truly believe there's a huge opportunity. I myself being one of those that are always looking for an opportunity for affordable health insurance. I myself am a healthy male, and this just doesn't make sense sometimes to go onto an ACA plan if you're not fully subsidized. So again, this is just for your knowledge, a great opportunity for you. And again, we're joined by Mike Binke, and with that, I'm going to, and by the way, this is a just-in-time carrier. So that means that they will finalize your appointment once you submit your first piece of business. If you do not submit the first piece of business within 45 days of requesting the appointment, then you will need to re-request it. So it's best to try to get a piece of business before actually getting appointed with them. Also, we will take questions at the very end of the webinar. So if you do have questions, there should be a screen on there where you can type them, and we will answer them all at the end. So with that, guys, I want to turn it over to Mike Binke. He's going to give you a great illustration on exactly how this plan works. Part 2 of our series will be in 2 weeks, and then we'll do another one 2 weeks from then with great detail on the plan benefits. So again, Mike, I appreciate you joining us, and we'll go ahead and let you take it over. Thank you, sir.
Okay, how are we going to do this? Show my screen?
Yes, and I believe they're doing that now. Yes, and we can see your screen.
For the agents who were at the expo, we went through a version of this. It's changed just a little bit. This is a first-hand claim. We always look at these hypothetical claims and wonder, how legitimate is this? This actually happened to me, and it wasn't fun. So we're going to zip through here. The first phase of this is primarily intended to demonstrate for those who may have figured that limited benefit plans weren't worthy of your attention. What the kids used to say, all that in a bag of chips. Some of them are pretty strong. We have one of the best, we think. The second part of the hour, we're going to look at virtually all of them out there and how they stack up next to each other, both in benefit as well as claims. And in the end, we'll have some Q&A. So, some of us have met before. That's me. I wear a butt cheek for a hat. We created this product line 8 years ago with Manhattan. And it just provided me with an opportunity to have a real life claim without a bunch of HIPAA considerations. So I chose mine. And we'll be looking at it. Now, I happen to have a Blue Cross Silver plan. As I'm one of those folks that The mechanic's car may not run, and the painter's house might be peeling, but I've got plenty of insurance. I have the most comprehensive First Choice plan that was available when I purchased it 7 years ago. The numbers that we're going to be looking at are going to be the ones that would have been in play had someone purchased the new Victory Series that's only been out for 2 weeks. So clearly I didn't have it last year at the time of this claim, but if it was available and if I had it, this is the way it would have worked. So we're going to look at what procedures were performed, how did Blue Cross pay, what would we have done, and then compare the premiums and the exposures. 2017, Laura, my wife, and I paid almost $21,000 for our Blue Cross Silver plan. My portion of that was $779.85 a month. For that, we had a $5,700 deductible, $6,700 max out of pocket, 2 of those per family. So we jump right into the claim here. September 3rd. This is the actual tree I was in the process of cutting down. If you guys remember, right before the storm came through. And I got bitten by a brown recluse spider. Not my best day. Stuck in the house while the storm went through, several days of unsuccessful antibiotics, and then it was meet me at the hospital on 9/12. I was in there for 9 days and 8 nights. And this is a printout, and I'll show the actual UBO4 form in a few minutes. Pretty much what happened to me while I was in there. The 21 bags of IV antibiotics were the most fun. 49 lab tests, 268 pills. There's a screenshot of the UBO4 for the hospital bill and a breakdown of what we just looked at. $43,833 for the hospital. That doesn't include the surgeon and the anesthesiologist, both of which were repriced significantly. Total of 58% between the 2 of them. So that was helpful. And that'll come into play later when we look at the big picture and determine whether or not these plans are appropriate for us. If the numbers don't jive here, it's because I was several $1,000s out of pocket. I'd have been satisfied by the time we got into September of this year. So this represents the balance of the exposure under the policy. The $43,833 bill was repriced at $22,968, almost exactly 50% discount. You can't expect that to happen every time. So we'll be a little bit more conservative when we look at some other examples. No matter what you're talking about, if you're talking about an ACA plan, if you're talking about any combination of health coverage, there's a very simple equation to remember, and it's this. The very cost, the total cost of any health insurance program has only 2 parts. What do you pay in premium to have the coverage, and what do you pay in out-of-pocket exposure when you use the coverage? And you have to be able to afford both, or you're wasting your time. So those folks out there who make less money than Rockefeller and who aren't fully subsidized are in a world where they need to make some decisions, and they have a bunch. Over the next 3 webinars, we're going to look at standalone coverage. We're going to look at marrying coverage with short-term major medical, marrying coverage with Christian sharing ministry. There are a lot of things that are available to us today as tools, and the astute agents will be able to do some wonderful work for the client. Comparing the 2 side by side. Blue Cross is $10,000 a year. Just my part now. That's not counting Laura. She wasn't part of the claim, so it wouldn't be fair to build her into here. First Choice be $32.47 under the plan that's available today, the Victory Series. $67 out of pocket with the Blue Cross plan. There is no deductible or co-insurance. With the First Choice plan, we pay all first dollar benefits. The bill was repriced at 50%. We've got that here under the deluxe plan as well, but we're going to be a little bit more conservative when we get down to brass tacks here in a minute. The plan, Blue Cross paid $16,268. First Choice would have paid $47,400. So if you look at return on investment, the plan I paid $10,000 for paid me back $16,000. The plan I paid $3,000 for paid me back $47,000. Now there's more to be considered than that, but that's pretty powerful. Once again, this is the age-banded rate. It used to be a composite rate. Those of you who remember the original First Choice, we now have 3 age bands to offer more fair premiums to younger folks. This is the premium that I would have paid had I purchased this in my 60s. Keep in mind that unlike the majority of our competitors, we do not have scheduled rate increases. We do not have a rate increase each year. We do not have trend built into the product. We don't even raise the rates when you go from one age band to another. So what starts out at this premium stays there. Here's what the deluxe plan would have paid toward the claim. I'm just going to throw it up here real quick. We'll go into a very detailed breakdown of each benefit in future training. But this is where it would have come from under the current design. $47,000 for a $26,000 bill. The little bridge plan that is normally used to augment or supplement an ACA qualified plan, what would it have done with the same claim? $16,400. And there are no $16,000 exposures under ACA plans, as we all know. So even our little plan would have done as good a job in this particular instance as the Blue Cross did. Am I saying that we're better than Blue Cross? No, no, and no. I'm simply saying that in this one particular situation, here's the way it broke out, and it demonstrates that there is a place in our market for defined benefit coverage. Okay, somebody out there right now saying, yeah, but $40,000 bill, what if it had been bigger? What if it had been a $60,000 bill or a $70,000 bill? Let's up the ante a little bit. Just for the sake of practice, let's say it was twice as big. How would our plan have performed? Instead of $46,000, let's say it's $100,000. Now to get there, we'll add 5 days of ICU. Envision a much more complex surgical environment. By the way, we've already maxed out what we pay for surgery, so we're not going to get any more paid for this additional cost. So we may not hold up too well, but let's see. Comparable PPO repricing would bring the bill to $50,000. 5 days of hospital confinement at $300 a day is going to pay another $1,500. 5 days of ICU at $3,000 a day is another $15,000. That's $16,500 in addition to the payments that we've already paid under the bill. So $47,400 plus $16,500. We now have $63,900 to pay a $50,000 bill. Okay, well, that did a little better than expected. But what if it was a $200,000 bill? We'll add another week of ICU and some more surgery and drugs and junk and start over. Reprice the bill at $100,000. 7 extra days of hospital confinement plus the ICU. Total of $23,100 with the $63,000 we've already paid. That gives us $87,000 to pay a $100,000 repriced bill. So we're $13,000 out of pocket. Or are we? Let's take a real close look at the reality of the situation. There's an old adage that says figures don't lie, but liars can figure. This is the way it really works. We're going to start by making it worse. This is the limited benefit network. We can't assume that we're going to get a 50% repricing on a hospital bill, but 35 to 40% happens virtually every time. So when we go through here, let's use 35% repricing instead of 50. So we're not getting as much savings as I had on my claim. And let's look at this $200,000 bill. Then we're going to look at the out-of-pocket and the premium considerations as well. All numbers we've looked at before now. $6,700 is the out-of-pocket guaranteed with the qualified plan. We'd had to pay that. There is no deductible or coinsurance with our plan, so we've saved that money. Plus, the difference in premium of $6,861, that stayed in our pocket, so we saved that money. That's $13,561. Plus, we now include CARES 360, patient advocacy. They do a tremendous job before, during, and after the claim. They'll help you find an environment that is the least expensive. They'll help you find an environment that has the best results. And there is no charge for that service that is provided. So we're going to have to factor that in too. And this one, I have to admit, I've been talking for years to agents and clients about getting involved with the process. And it is so difficult to have a client to negotiate with a doctor or a hospital. It's almost as though it's mentioned in the Bible that you can't do it or something. They just won't. This is a personal experience that I had, but when I called to settle my bill, before I could even get to the point of asking, they volunteered to give me a 15% discount for paying my bill in full at that time, which I was already prepared to do. So we look at the difference in the exposure. We look at the difference in premium. We look at the repricing. We look at the discount for paying it off in cash because the plan is going to give it to us. And the reality of the situation is we've got a $200,000 bill. Multi-plan repricing at a conservative 35%. Remember, I enjoyed 50% with my Blue Cross plan. We're only using 35. I've never heard of CARES getting less than 30% savings on a bill of any size. They're amazing. And if those of you at the end of this presentation, those of you who may be familiar with CARES or had a firsthand experience with them, I'd appreciate it if you'd chime in and tell the rest of us what kind of experience you had. But at a conservative 10%, there's $13,000. Pay the bill in cash. That saves another $18,450. So now our $200,000 bill is down to $98,000 and change. FirstChoice Deluxe pays $87,000. Your premium savings is $68.61. Your out-of-pocket savings is $6,700. You went into the hospital with a FirstChoice Deluxe plan, and when compared to a catastrophic silver Blue Cross plan, your $200,000 bill wound up with $2,000 in your pocket. This is reality. We're not going to distort this to make it look like a cash cow, but you could safely go into the hospital with a pretty substantial bill. Now, are there bills that would scuttle any limited benefit plan? You betcha. Is the best coverage to be had always a fully qualified ACA plan? You betcha. But at what cost? And it's a price that some people can't bear. I have the luxury, I'm blessed, Laura and I could pay $23,000 a year for a silver plan and keep our coverage on top of it. Not everybody can afford to do that. So we're looking at options for those who can. Oh, by the way, the biggest claim we paid last year with limited benefit coverage was $678,000. So if you don't think that these plans can pay out a chunk, think again. We have some options available to us this year we haven't had in the past for various reasons. Limitations on short term. Expanding short term, particularly in North Carolina, where you've got a Nat Gen policy right now that has a very, very good short-term major medical rate. I mean, I don't get paid to promote other companies, but the truth is the truth. You can take a $10,000 short-term major medical. That seems to be the sweet spot, and marry it not to our full-blown blown deluxe plan, but our basic plan for probably half the price of an ACA plan, and have dynamite first dollar benefits. You can do the same thing with a Christian Sharing Ministry program. There's 5 of them that were approved by the ACA because of the length of time that they had been in business and the success that they had had. So if you're philosophically in tune to the Christian Sharing Ministries, but you like the idea of having a backbone of guaranteed insurance benefits in the program, then you can provide those with the Victory Series. You want the very, very best. It's an ACA plan, assuming you can afford it. Not everybody can. If you're unable to afford an ACA plan, you can find coverage, quality coverage, for much less than an ACA plan premium if you know where to look. And thanks to folks like yourself, the world is learning that FirstChoice is a real good place to look. Okay. Quick from the legal department. Catastrophic is the best. All claims are different. Don't trust your tax professional and don't play with spiders. And if you want some information, call Messer or call us, and we'll be happy to help you. So part 1 of this is simply, are limited benefit plans worth considering? I think we'd have to say that that's a resounding yes. We've proven that. So if we can consider them as a part of what we're doing, what's the best one? Let's look at all of them. There are 2 basic types of limited benefit plans. You've got the ones that are strictly intended to augment and supplement a qualified plan. The Allstate SHOP plan, $1,000 on day 1 and $100 a day for the next week. Those little ones, they're not intended to stand alone. But the ones who fancy themselves stout enough to be considered for standalone coverage, these are the 9 that we'll look at today. Most of them are fairly similar in design. How are we doing time-wise? Oh, yeah,
You're good.
Zipping right along. Most of them feature a per-day confinement element, an inpatient surgical benefit, and some benefit for outpatient surgery, a value for anesthesiology and assistant surgeon. Most have a benefit for intensive care. Some have diagnostic procedures, x-rays, labs, etc. And most also include benefits for doctor visits. And believe it or not all of them do. As far as eligibility is concerned, they tend to differ drastically in their underwriting requirements. Some of them are as tight as full-blown major medical used to be. Others are guaranteed issue. Some are designed to supplement larger plans, others to stand on their own. And we're going to feature a comparison of the ones that are designed to stand on their own. Literally, pricing is all over the board, and we'll look at a number of different demographics to show this with each one of our competitors. Some plans I refer to as a one-size-fits-all. It's a 18 to 65, touch the pen will put you in, same price regardless of age, sex, smoking status, or whatever. That's the way we've been up until now. At least we have 3 age brackets now, which makes it a little bit more fair. The better you understand all of the plans in the marketplace, the better advice you can give your clients, period. Which is why we do this and make the information available to you. Both of these presentations are available if you want to take them for your own study. They are not to be used at the point of sale. There are too many companies mentioned and too many compliance departments involved. Everything that we're talking about here is research done by me, for me. So anyway, I don't mind sharing it with all of you guys, but let's don't put it on a billboard. Not that it's not correct. There's just a certain propriety to this. Now, just like the plans differ, so do the claims. So we're going to look at a variety of different claims, some big ones, some little ones, some in between, to get a feel for how the plans perform. Now, we're not going to go into great detail, but we just went through my spider bite claim. That's when that little rascal bit me and injected that nasty, gosh, what do you call that? That bacteria that cost me a toe and a chunk of my foot. But anyway, we've gone through that as far as what I experienced while in the hospital. How would these various plans have paid for it? Now, we're talking about the old FirstChoice, the new FirstChoice, both of the Philadelphia American products, the Health Saver 3 and the Health Choice Select, Chubb's Cardinal Choice, Standard Life and Accident, that's Slaco, their Benefit Archway, Nat Gen, who you have in North Carolina too, their new Enhanced plan. If you haven't heard, they went from the lower echelon of limited benefit plans to the upper half recently with the changes that they made to their Foundation Health Enhanced. I'm very proud of them. We still win, but they've made some significant improvements. And if anybody's wondering, this presentation does reflect those very recent enhancements. IHC has got their care plan, Assurance Hooray Health Select, Health Protector Guard with UHC is a very, very popular plan, and it does a fine job. Look at the premium. Here's a claim for an average 5-day period of hospital confinement in which no surgery takes place. It's been said that we look extremely good when there's surgery involved because the daily surgical benefit, which we invented, is the very, very best in the industry, period. But what if there is no surgery? Here's some of the plans. Same ones in the same order. And this 5 days with no surgery. You see Victory's going to pay $16.5. The Philadelphia American plans pay a little bit more. Chubb, Slaco, Nat Gen, a little bit less. Nat Gen about the same. IHC a little bit less. Look at Health Protector Guard. Half again more. Good benefit. We haven't looked at the premiums yet. Here's a 6-day hospital confinement heart bypass, 2 days in the ICU. Old First Choice, 32,000. New Victory Series, 43.8. That's more than the Philadelphia American plans. It's more than Chubb, Slaco, or Nat Gen by a bunch. It's more than IHC. It's not quite as much as Health Protector Guard. Once again, we haven't looked at the premiums. Let's look at the premiums. When there are three or less plans available with a competitor, we've put all three down there. When they have had more than three plans, we've taken their biggest one, their littlest one, and the one in between. And that's the ones that we've used here to get a fair representative example. The most comprehensive old First Choice was the Complete at 160. Significantly stronger Victory Series Deluxe is only 168 in the younger age band, such as this female age 29. There's your Philadelphia American. Keep in mind, this is for 3 units, but the claims we showed were 3 units too. So we're being consistent, we're being fair. Chubb wants you to rob a bank to buy theirs, and the majority of the competition is going to be half again more than us. There's Nat Gen with the new Foundation Health Enhanced at a very reasonable premium. Male 35, what happens? Well, our premiums don't change because in the first age band of 18 to 39, male, female, smoker, non-smoker, doesn't matter. That's what we're going to pay. You're going to see Philadelphia American jump up a little bit. You're going to see Nat Gen jump a significant amount for the tobacco. And of course, there's your Health Protector Guard at half again more in premium. Next jump, here's a female age 38 who is a smoker. We're still at 168. Philadelphia American plans, even by age 38 for smokers, have doubled our premium. Health Protector Guard has about tripled the premium. Nat Gen's still in the same ballpark with us. 47 non-tobacco. Deluxe jumps to 226 in this new age bracket. There's Philadelphia American, the most popular plans in the market right now. Twice as much, half again more. And the same for most of the competition. Family has a rivet. They didn't know we were busy. They'll figure it out. What's happening with Health Protector Guard? 305. Once again, half again more. Here's where it gets salty. We jump into our 50s. We've got a standard tobacco female at age 53. We're at 226. Philadelphia American is 2.5 to 3 times as much. Health Protector Guard is 4 times as much. Nat Gen's even significantly higher. From this point on, we just blow people away. Male 58 non-tobacco. We're 226. There's Philadelphia American, averaging about $600 a month. And by the time you get to our 63-year-old female, nothing's close. 64-year-old smoker, 270 with us, 8,900 with Philadelphia American. IHC is over $1,000. Nat Gen's still very reasonably priced. So is Chubb. Poor Health Protector Guard. I've got a belief that you could get a qualified plan for that amount. So they're pretty much saying they don't want the business anymore. So when you look at the claims, we're right there at the top. You look at the premiums, we're right there at the bottom. That's a good mix for your client. We're a guaranteed issue product. We don't have the considerations. The majority of those plans are underwritten and can be turned down and are regularly. We have 3 pre-existing conditions that are of significance. We'll get to them in a second. There they are. Going forward, if a client at the time of application presents with pre-existing conditions that are either cystic fibrosis, ESRD, that's end-stage renal disease, kidney problems, or COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, those conditions only. Now, if the client has cystic fibrosis, and that's their pre-ex condition, we will not cover cystic fibrosis after 12 months. We'll cover AIDS, cancer, heart attack, stroke, athlete's foot, sickle cell anemia, but we're not going to cover cystic fibrosis only. The good news here is all 3 of these conditions are immediate eligibility for underage disability. So there's no reason for anybody to have to be concerned about getting insurance coverage if they have one of these 3. They don't need your other plans. They don't need us for that. It is not a coincidence that some plans consistently perform well no matter what criteria you're used to evaluate them. We should be the best. We are the oldest. We have been doing it longer. We have been doing it better. We started doing it when Health and Human Services said, no, you can't sell these plans anymore to anybody who doesn't already own a qualified plan. One company sued the government. It was us. We had no help. Well, we had no help from other insurance companies. We had 10 different departments of insurance who wrote letters of support for our position, Friends of the Court Brief. And they helped us beat the government and beat them again on appeal, and they chose not to take it to the Supreme Court. So the reason that roster of companies exists to do business in this space is because we fought to keep it open for you and your clients, and indirectly to them. Manhattan's the only company in America you can say that about truthfully. Agent compensation. I know you guys are all independently wealthy and doing this as a hobby because out of boredom, because there's only so much volunteer work you can do. And compensation isn't important, but we may as well mention that our commissions are among the highest in the industry too. You'd think that if we had the highest benefits and the lowest claims, we wouldn't be able to pay the highest compensation by any stretch, and yet we do. And we do it while being guaranteed issue and guaranteed renewable policies, not certificates. With a certificate, there's a master policy between the insurance company and an entity, an association, or an employer. And the certs are fine as long as that master policy stays in force. The minute that relationship breaks down, and it can be for anything as little as a misunderstanding or a payment lost in the mail, the certificates are worth nothing. A policy is a guaranteed contract between an individual and the insurance company. The only way for our guaranteed renewable coverage to ever be terminated is if the client didn't pay the premium or requested it to be canceled. We've never canceled the policy. We have never raised a premium going forward. So, before we get to the question and the answer section, what I want you to think about, if your primary concern is the strength of the coverage that you sell, then you need to be selling First Choice. Now, if financially you're more concerned about the economy of the equation and you want to sell the least expensive plans, well, that would be First Choice as well. And if you're really just in it for the money, well, let's talk about underwriting. How about guaranteed issue? There isn't any. For simplicity to yourself, lack of turn downs, make your life easier, there's no easier plan to acquire than First Choice. And I think you'll find we pay the highest commissions. So it doesn't matter what consideration is most important to you. The answer is probably going to be First Choice, whether or not you have any appreciation for they're the reasons you're in business in this market in the first place. Now that says BMC, but from the time we put this program together, one of the very, very first contracts that we offered was to my personal friend Bill Rice and Roy with Messer, and it's been continuously in place ever since then. It was with Central United. They've changed their name to Manhattan Life now, so don't be confused. If any of you have a contract with Manhattan to sell their annuities, that is different. The annuities are a proprietary program, just like First Choice is with us. And we've managed to keep both of them to 45 minutes. So I think we've done pretty good. Michael, you want to take it back over and let's go with the Q&A?
Sure, absolutely. And Mike, thank you so much for presenting that. I'm pretty sure that if the agents out there that are listening have got a bunch of clients that this thing fits. Like I said, everybody's looking for the best price and the best bang for the buck, and I think you just hit it right on the head. One of the first question here is, what do you think about pairing this with a short-term medical policy?
Brilliant. Of course, you have to pair it with the right one. We refer to the sweet spot as the best combination of strength and low premium. If you have a pet company that you prefer to use, if you have a short-term major medical that is your preference, then you're going to have to run a variety of quotes to see where the sweet spot is with them. I've done it with Nat Gen in North Carolina, and it came out to be $10,000 and $5,000 of shared expense, and our basic plan. That's not the one we're talking about. And great, there you're talking about first dollar coverage for any of those protracted claims. You're going to have much more than you need to pay 100% of the bill and put the rest in your pocket. So no, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Now, is it a little bit inconvenient to have to rewrite them every once in a while? Yeah. And there's some limits to how many times you can do that, but you can always change companies. And as long as we're able to jump out of anything back into the ACA, and years go by, we couldn't play musical chairs very easily, because if you were standing when the music stopped, that was the coverage you had till age 65. Now, you never have to go more than a few months before you can jump back into the ACA. There's some very, very creative things that you can do to really help your clients, and I think that's at the top of the list. Great question.
Is there a pre-existing condition lockout?
Okay, I'm not sure what they mean by lockout, but let me tell you how Pre-X works. Any condition for which your client has sought or received medical treatment or taken medicine in the 12 months prior to the application is not going to be covered for 12 months. Then, after 12 months, it's automatically going to be covered. We've issued policies on people who were actually taking chemotherapy at the time they bought the plan. We've covered cancer after 12 months.
Wow.
That's how strong this program is. Now, remember those three conditions for which that is no longer true: cystic fibrosis, end-stage renal disease, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Those three will never be covered if they're pre-X at the time of application. Now, if somebody develops one of those conditions while the policy is enforced, then of course we'll pay for it. Only if they present with that pre-X at the time of application. But remember too, automatic eligibility for underage disability, which is where they would need to be.
So just so that we're perfectly clear, if someone has a pre-existing conditions at time of purchase of the policy, regardless if they've recovered from it or they've been cleared or anything, even if they still have it after 12 months, this plan will cover it.
Correct.
I mean, guys, come on. I don't think it gets much stronger than that. And at those affordable rates, a guaranteed issue policy, and showing what kind of payouts that thing has, I don't think there's much bigger bang for the buck like Mike was saying. That's pretty incredible in my opinion. There's another question here. He said he wants to talk about commissions again. They pay the highest commissions in the country, and we can absolutely get you at that highest level. So you let us know. We can contract you. We can get everybody appointed. We can discuss all that.
Right.
Just feel free to contact Messer, and we can take care of anything that you have.
I have to insist that you discuss commissions with your people. It's not my place to do that.
No, we can absolutely do that, and we will put you at the highest levels. Another question here is there any rule as far as like it used to be with the 27 hours of work needed, or is this this can literally be guaranteed issue for anybody?
Well, the rule that we have is that the primary insured only be engaged for profit an average of 27 hours per week. Guys, that's part of the secret sauce. I don't mind telling you that one of the reasons that we can offer a better benefit to premium ratio than our competitors is because we have that working requirement. What does it do? There's a relatively small but extremely expensive segment of the population known as the underage 65 folks who are on disability. They're extremely expensive to insure. By carving out that small section, we are able to give so much more benefit to the rest of folks. It's amazing. So it's a sacrifice that we make. By having that 27-hour working requirement on the primary insured only. Does the spouse have a working requirement? No. It's not China. So the kids don't have a working requirement. Only the primary insured. But making sure that they're not disabled at the time they buy the policy is part of what lets us provide the level of benefits that we do for the premium that we charge and still pay you guys handsomely. That's a great question. Thanks for whoever thought to remember to bring that up. Kudos.
Are these plans portable?
Absolutely. You can sell these plans on a list bill, and we'll list bill as few as 3 lives. If someone leaves a list bill, the plans don't change a penny. There are no excess fees, administrative fees, application fees, or any other funky fees built in, which means you get paid a commission on every penny that we collect. And if someone leaves a group, the premiums do not change. And it's guaranteed renewable coverage. So they get to take it with them.
What method of payments are accepted?
We prefer dollars.
Dollars.
No, seriously. Bank draft is normally the way it's done. If it's on a list bill, then there's additional paperwork that can be used to set up a list bill account. So it's almost always done bank draft. We no longer accept credit cards. I thought that was such a wonderful thing when we started taking credit cards, and it turned out to be a nightmare. And I won't bore everybody with all of everything you could possibly have. Every time somebody lost a card and had to get it replaced, their insurance drafts. Every time the husband went out and got a new set of pings and didn't tell his wife, the left hand not knowing what the right hand was doing, it was nightmarish. And we stopped taking credit cards. Some companies, bless their hearts, still do. I don't know how. But we prefer a bank draft or a list bill, which they can remit a check.
Do you have electronics app submission options?
Not only do we have electronic app submission options, we have slick as a whistle electronic enrollment platform called Manhattan Direct, and that is with, as of the Victory Series, because of the importance of building in cancer coverage and accident coverage along with it and making the package sale, we only have electronic enrollment. We do not have a paper application for the Victory Series. It's all done online. And all you need is the same height, weight, serial number that you would need for any paper app, and the mother's maiden name serves as the electronic signature. So if you know what questions to ask, and you can print off a paper app and complete that at the point of sale, come back to the office if you want and put the information in the leisure of your office, but you could scribble that information down on a cocktail napkin if you needed to, and come back to your office and do the electronic submission.
Yeah, I always recommend doing it online anyways. It just eliminates a lot of the errors as far as submitting it goes. What is this plan available?
Pardon me?
What states is this plan available in?
As of right now, the plan is available Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, I think I already said. Now, as of March the 1st, we're not talking far from March the 1st, you should see Kentucky, Wisconsin, and Iowa come online. So we're in 24 states.
One of the agents asked, is this for individuals also or just for groups? I think you explained it, but just so you can clarify it one more time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, this is for individuals.
You can do a list bill up to $1 million, or you can do an individual down to 1. We will not accept less than 1.
Okay. And looks like the last one, is there any time frame of when you'll be available in Florida?
We have a sister product called Premier Options that was already age banded with the same benefits that already had the diagnostic rider. Between the old supplement series and the brand new Victory Series, we did refile in Florida, and the plan is very, very similar to this one, and it's ready right now under Premier Options. We may be refiling in Florida. That has not been determined yet, but there's not a burning reason to. So in effect, while it is somewhere between a sister and a first cousin in similarity, we already have the plan in Florida.
Is that still through the Manhattan Life appointment?
That plan is through the sister company Family Life. If somebody wants to be able to write the plan in Florida, we need to make certain that they request to be appointed with Family Life as well. But it's nothing more than a block checked off of the same paperwork.
Okay, and is that the same case in Virginia as well?
Virginia has not been approved yet.
Okay.
Virginia's being persnickety this time. I'm not sure why. I'd love to be able to tell you why. Can't.
Okay.
We filed in Virginia. We're working with Virginia. We anticipate at some point we'll be approved in Virginia, but I couldn't tell you exactly when.
Gotcha. Okay, well, great. Well, that looks like that's all the questions that we have. We're going to be doing a follow-up to this meeting as well in 2 weeks. We hope to have you all join that one as well. I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of their day to join us, and also Mike for presenting this with us and partnering and Your partnership has always meant a lot to Messer Financial, and we do appreciate all that you guys do. Is there anything that you want to say before we part ways?
No, business is business, but family is family, and I kind of think of you guys as both. So there's no
Absolutely.
chain of command. It's not the military. If you need something, pick up the phone and call us at BMC. We're blessed with not having trust issues between our two organizations. The way we handle webinars is you invite them and I talk to them. I don't even want to know who is on the phone. We don't play those games. But if I can be of service to anybody and you don't call me, shame on you.
All right, Mike. Well, we appreciate it. And again, guys, any questions, concerns, reach out to us, Messer Financial. You can reach out to BMC, Mike Binky. We're here to help you out in any way that we can. So again, thank you for joining and have a great week. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.